Hello everyone, this is David Ha'ivri, your Israel tour guide. By the way, this is my Israel tour guide license. In Israel, tour guides are licensed to take people around and tell them the history, culture, and heritage of this very special Holy Land. I am in Jerusalem at the Even Yisrael neighborhood, which is part of the Nachlaot, or the Lev Ha'ir, the heart of the city of Jerusalem. It's one of the very first Jewish neighborhoods that was built outside of the walls of the old city of Jerusalem. Today, the tour is not about Even Yisrael, it's about another neighborhood which is across the street. It's nearby. We're going to walk over there to Mazcaret Moshe. The tour is not particularly about the neighborhood Mazcaret Moshe, but about one of the synagogues in that neighborhood called Chesed vRachamim. Chesed is like compassion and generosity. We'll see a little bit about that synagogue. I'm not sure if we'll be able to go in unless someone is there preparing the synagogue for Shabbat. The synagogue is probably closed, but we'll see a lot of interesting things around the synagogue, and we'll learn about the synagogue. We'll be walking through this courtyard that we're in now, which is Even Yisrael. We'll walk through the courtyard and head towards Jaffa Street. I'm doing some experiments on how to stream these videos, these virtual tours. I'm trying different variations per live streaming or just uploading, and I'm interested in hearing your feedback on that. How is it more accessible and enjoyable to you? So please do write a comment, say, hi, I am your name, I am from wherever you are. Let me know, and let me know if you are enjoying the videos, and if you would like to participate in a live stream when I am actually filming, so you can ask me questions about the tours, or if you would like to, if you'd prefer just having the videos uploaded, and tell me whichever platform is most convenient to you. Now I'm flipping over the camera. You can see one of the buildings here that is being expanded. There's a national project called Tama 38, where many neighborhoods are many old buildings are being added onto. There's adding more floors to the higher levels of these buildings. And we've got a lot of that going on here in the center of town. We're walking towards one of the works of an Israeli street artist whose name is Salomon Saoza, and I just love to tour through the center of Jerusalem's Machane Yehuda and see Salomon's work. This is some of his earlier work in this area. Later on, he painted many storefronts, the shutter doors of many of the stores in Machane Yehuda, in the market, which is very near to where we are now. That was about 13 years ago, and recently he has come back to Machane Yehuda, to the Shuk, to do more murals on the shutter doors. I have spoken about that in some of my videos, and I will be speaking more about his work in future videos. And there is so much to see that we can actually visit this area again and again to see, enjoy, and learn about more of the work of Salomon Saoza. But we can also do many tours in this area to learn about the history of these neighborhoods. We are now walking up Agrippas Street from the east to the west, headed towards Binyan Klal, which is ahead of us to the right. And ahead of us to the left, we're passing by a number of very old neighborhoods. We're passing by Mishkenot Yisrael. And we're headed towards Mazcaret Moshe. By the way, if you're interested in supporting any businesses, or if you need any Judaica or anything specific from Jerusalem, let me know if I can be of any help to you. A friend recently asked me about a specific team t-shirt for the Israel national team, and I did some homework to help her find the exact item she was looking for and got her information about that. Feel free to ask questions about the tour. You can write them in the comments. Now, do you see this building, this black square being built on top of this building? The building that is underneath is one of the very first neighborhoods that was built outside of the walls of the old city of Jerusalem at the end of the 19th century. That's like 1870s. This is the neighborhood. This building is a neighborhood, it's part of a neighborhood that is called Mazcaret Moshe, named for Moses Montefiore. And now, as you can see, the owners are building a new floor up above the old building, which is pretty complicated. When it is done, it will all be covered, all of this black will be covered with the white limestone that is very symbolic for Jerusalem, and actually part of the city ordinance that all buildings need to be covered in the white limestone. We are at the crossroads of Agrippas and Kiach. Kiach is short for Kol Yisrael Chaverim, meaning the people of Israel are all friends. And it is actually the name of an organization that established a school here at the end of the 19th century. Here we can see part of the complex of the historical school. It is now a construction site. There is a whole new complex that is being built all around it. But currently the law protects the historical buildings. So this whole new complex is going to be built around the historical buildings in such a way that the historical buildings will be protected and maintained. Now I'm going to spin around and look at the building ahead of us. You see the building with the 3 windows and the Jewish star. It's a huge clock. If you look closely, you can see the hands of the clock, and it seems to be on time. It is now 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. The market is very busy now with Shabbat shopping. People are here shopping for their Shabbat meals. The 3 windows are the northern side of the synagogue. The synagogue is called, the name is written on the top of the circle around the Jewish star. It says Bet Knesset Chesed vRachamim. The synagogue is called Chesed vRachamim. And the Chak, notice that instead of numbers, it has letters. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet. Each one of the Hebrew letters has a numeric value. The first letter, Aleph, equals 1. The second letter, Bet, equals 2. All the way up to Yud, the 10th letter. And then the Yud Aleph means 11. It's the Yud, and Yud Bet is 12. All right, we're going to cross now. Notice the sign above the arch, and you read it says Sir Moses Montefiore Testimonial, and it tells the story of this neighborhood that was built at the end of the 19th century. And we're going to walk through the arch, which was the gates of the neighborhood. It was the actual entrance into the neighborhood. The neighborhood was built in the form of a courtyard, with all of the homes in a square around a courtyard. The homes served as a wall to protect the inner part of the neighborhood. And now we are in the courtyard of the Mazcaret Moshe neighborhood. The street that we are on now is called HaCarmel. HaCarmel means the Carmel, like the Carmel mountain, the mountain ridge in the northern part of Israel, where the city of Haifa is, and the Jews' villages of Usafia and Dalyat Carmel. The Carmel forest. A few years ago there was a massive forest fire at Carmel. Notice the architecture of the buildings. All of these buildings were built in the end of the 19th century, about 1870. And now we're going to walk over and take a look at the actual entrance to the synagogue. The entrance is from the southern side. The other side of the building, the northern side, we saw from the street, from the Kiach and Agrippas. All of the Jewish synagogues face the Temple Mount. So this is facing towards the east. The old city of Jerusalem is in that direction, and that is the direction of prayer. The synagogue was established in the 1920s of the 20th century, say 1920 something. Has a very interesting story. The building itself, which at one time was the home of a family called Heshin, later became a type of bar, a place where people went in the evening for a drink. And one of the members of the community, whose name is actually inscribed in the sign over the doorway, his name was Yitzchak Armoza. He was not happy about the bar, the club in the neighborhood, and he approached the owners of the building and put a certain amount of money on the table. This is the legend of the synagogue. And he said, I will pay you this much if you close down the bar, the pub in the building, and rent it to me, and I will establish a synagogue here. So that was about 100 years ago. And to this day, the synagogue is operated by the same Sephardi community. They had originally established themselves in the old city of Jerusalem, and at that time residents of the old city of Jerusalem were moving out and establishing new neighborhoods. These families, the Armoza family, were well known for being butchers, and they were considered to be very strong people. Anyway, on the door of the synagogue, you can see the symbols of the 12 tribes of Israel. See here in the upper right-hand corner, it's the symbol of the tribe of Reuven. Next to it, Shimon. See the massive walls of the city of Shechem. Next to it, Levi. We see the stones of the Choshen, the breastplate of the Kohanim. Beneath that we see Zevulun, who according to the heritage were seagoers. Next to it, Issachar. The Mishnah tells us that Issachar studied the Torah, they were the scholars. Next to that, we see the tribe of Yehuda, and we see the crown. King David came from the tribe of Yehuda. Beneath that, we see the tribe of Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Benjamin. The temple stood in the property of the tribe of Benjamin. Next to it, Joseph the righteous one, the one who provided. So we see that his symbol has the wheat, the bread he provided for the nation of Israel. And next to it, Dan. And we see the scales of justice. On the floor you can see a very pretty mosaic design. And on the door to the left, you can see the verses of Eshet Chayil, which mean the woman of valor. So here we've seen, notice that very beautiful mezuzah with the Jewish star. Inside the mezuzah there is a piece of parchment that has inscription from the Torah, and according to the Jewish tradition, you are to place a mezuzah on the doorway with the inscriptions. And this sign is meant to tell people the different prayer times. To the right, the clocks tell us morning, afternoon, and evening prayers during the week, and to the left are the afternoon, morning, and afternoon prayers on Shabbat. All right, we're going to continue here along Carmel Street, or Ha-Carmel, which is parallel to Agrippas Street. Agrippas Street is just to the north of us, and remember, we were on the main street. We started off at Agrippas. Here we see some more of the earlier work of Salomon Sauza, the Israeli street artist. Notice that these paintings are framed. It's actually on plaster that covers windows that were closed down, and the art is not on the white limestone. The paintings are not on the white limestone. The city is very protective of the limestone, and if a graffiti were drawn on the limestone, it would have been erased by the municipality workers. But because it's on the plaster, it is allowed to stay here, and it's been here for at least 12 years. Now, as you can see, we're back on the main street on Agrippas, just across from the Machane Yehuda market. I'll flip over the camera again to wish you well. My friends, this is David Ha'ivri in the Jerusalem, wishing you a Shabbat Shalom and looking forward to hearing back from you. Be well. Shalom.